Now, the Indian cricket team completely destroyed Sri Lanka in their World Cup match at the Wankhede last night. It was like the Asia Cup final repeating itself. India batted first and posted a mammoth 358 runs with key contributions in the form of half-centuries by Shubman Gill at the top, Shreyas Iyer and Virat Kohli. Then the pace unit completely pulled apart the Lankan batting lineup. There was absolutely zero resistance from the Lankans as Mohammed, Siraj, Jasprit, Bumrah and Mohammed Shami dug in deep to bundle them out for a paltry 50-odd runs. With this win, India has also made it to the semi-final with 14 points, where they finish in the top 4. That will take a while to determine. With this win, though, they also continue to remain unbeaten, which is a massive feat. If you look at every edition of the World Cup so far, only 2 countries have won the World Cup without losing a single match. West Indies in 1975, what an absolute terror of a side that was. The same, they repeated the feat in 1979. Australia did the unthinkable in 2003, where India reached that final and had to succumb to the Aussie batting power. Australia doubled that feat in the very next edition in 2007. But this win against Sri Lanka makes us ask the question, is the Indian pace unit the best in the World Cup? Earlier, it was Sher taking up the spot of that third seamer alongside Jasprit, Bumrah and Mohammad Siraj, who were the designated frontline bowlers, and they were winning matches even then. But the spinners came into play more so in the middle overs to further dent the opposition. But since the return of Mohammed Shami to the playing 11, this pace unit looks ominous and dangerous. If I look at the wickets taken by the pacers of each team, their top 3 bowlers that is, in the World Cup so far, here are the top 5 teams. South Africa's Marco Jansen, Kagiso Rabada and Gerald Coetzee lead the list, but barely. India is snapping at their heels with Bumrah and Shami's hauls making up for that number. Pakistan is right up there, 36 wickets shared between Shaheen, Haris Rauf and Hassan Ali. New Zealand's Matt Henry was the major contributor for New Zealand's 29 wickets by the pace unit, and he's picked up the injury, so the responsibility lies with Trent Boult now. Australia's Josh Hazlewood, Pat Cummins, Mitchell Starc not being as impactful as their pedigree in these conditions called for. So clearly on paper, with the kind of firepower that the Indian pace trio possesses, you have to admit they are the most lethal in this tournament. They at least look it. They have created impact in almost every match. And to think this was not the combination that India started the tournament with. Now, I caught up with one of the best observers of cricket and in fact one of the commentators at the World Cup, Simon Doull, to speak to us about the different pace units at the tournament and who, according to him, then, is the best. We're joined by a former New Zealand cricketer and someone also who's pretty much the voice of world cricket at the moment. He's an expert commentator who is doing commentary at the World Cup, ongoing underway Cricket World Cup. Simon Doull joining me across from Bengaluru. It's nice to see you here, Simon. Welcome to Firstpost. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you very much. Nice to be with you.
Simon, first off, it's been an exciting World Cup. It started off a little, is this going to be what we expected of it? But it has really developed with some close matches, some upsets, some unexpected results and outcome as well, at least so far.
Yeah, we needed some close games after the first sort of week and a half, 2 weeks. It looked a little bit like most of the games were going to be one-sided. What that was down to, I don't know. Sides aren't playing quite as much one-day international cricket as they have played in the previous years. They're playing a lot more T20, so maybe it was down to that. But they're sort of learning and getting better on the way through. Great to see some good results for Afghanistan, for the Netherlands as well. So I think the last couple of weeks has been pretty good.
The first question that we obviously have to ask you, Simon, and that's the point of this discussion really, is about the pace units of the various sides coming into this World Cup. We always pit the subcontinent conditions to be one conducive to spin, but going by all the tracks on offer, the pacers have really come into their own. How would you sort of set up the various pace units of the different teams, at least the top teams in this tournament so far? Who impressed you the most?
Well, India are a standout at the moment. They are relentless as far as their 3 seamers are concerned in particular. Now they've got Shami into the side, remembering that he's only played 3 games. They're at the top of the tree, I think. South Africa look very, very good with Jansen, Rabada, Ngidi and Coetzee to follow. And Australia look, pretty dangerous still. You can never underestimate what Australia do. I know they had a tough start to the tournament, but they've bounced back really nicely, and they look like genuine semi-final contenders and probably still title contenders, I suppose. Apart from that, I think the next lot are a little way behind. New Zealand haven't been at their best. They've just lost Matt Henry, who was probably one of the better bowlers in the last couple of years from New Zealand's point of view. So, yeah, New Zealand and then Pakistan have probably been the next sort of the fourth and fifth ranked sides, if I could put it that way. But yeah, the top, I've got India on top, South Africa just behind, and then Australia just a little bit behind them.
What makes you peg or at least pin down India to be number one? What part about their performance, or what aspect of it has really impressed you the most, and how have they really delivered this particular tournament?
I said the word relentless, and I kind of think that's what they are. They just keep coming at you. Jasprit Bumrah has been unbelievable post that back operation, coming back into the side after the injury. He just gives you nothing inside that power play. If you get runs off him, you're very, very fortunate. He hits that beautiful line and length. He swings the ball both ways, which is key for him. And he's getting a little bit of movement. Siraj is quite an aggressive type bowler. He will use the bouncer really well. He's got the ones that go across the left-hander. He's kind of continued on his form from the Asia Cup, which has been impressive. And from the time that Shami has come into the side, he's just lifted. I think he's lifted that attack a little bit more. What's he picked up? A 5, a 4, and a 5, and is only 3 games to play. So I think he's just complemented that seam bowling attack, to elevate them probably to the best in the tournament so far. And you couple that with the spinners to follow. And if Hardik does come back as the 4th seamer, then I think it's got all the makings of, easily the best bowling side in the tournament.
Just a word on Mohammad Shami, just a little more, in fact, Simon. It's hard to think that he was not featuring in the 11 for the first few games. And the way he's just sort of come back and owned the space, incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is incredible. I think India were sort of a little bit obsessed with finding that all-rounder role again, and playing Shardul, playing Ashwin. It just strikes me, when you've got 6 really good batters and Jadeja at 7, I think that's enough if you've got a high-quality bowling attack. And that's what they have now. In Shami, Bumrah and Siraj, with the 2 spinners, they have a high-quality bowling attack. If you have to worry about your number 8 getting you runs, then your top order and your middle order aren't doing their job. The fact that Shubman got runs last night, the fact that Shreyas got runs last night, kind of ticked those last 2 boxes from an Indian point of view. And Mohammad Shami, when you look at his numbers, they're absolutely phenomenal. He's gone past Zahir Khan. Zach took 23 games. And Shami's done it in 14. I think he's got 3 5-fers, 4 4-fers, and 4 3-fers or something like that in his World Cup career. He's missed out only once in 14 games. He had 1 no wickets against Australia in 1 game. He's got 2 1s and a 2, and everything else has been 3 or more in a World Cup. Look, it's just been an unbelievable performance. So I feel that they're more settled now. And he's forced the issue upon the Indian side, I think, that he just has to play. They play with 5 bowlers. When Hardik comes back, he probably replaces Surya at number 6, and then they've got a 6th bowler if they need it.
What has been, probably when I ask you about the paces in this tournament on offer, Simon, what has been your most disappointing aspect when it comes to this particular bowling department or bowling aspect in this tournament?
I don't know whether it's disappointing. It's just the fact we haven't seen a lot of swing. I think that's probably the one concern for me. There's been a little bit of swing here and there, but we haven't seen a lot of swing. I think that's one of the disappointing things. I love seeing good swing bowling, but the pace and the bounce in some of the surfaces has been fantastic. We've seen good quick bowling. I mean, if you're going to have a disappointment, I say probably England's pace attack have been largely disappointing. Outside of 1 or 2 performances here and there, their pace attack, which came into the tournament highly regarded, has probably been quite disappointing from their point of view. That's one area they will look at as much as they look at their batting, I think.
Really, thank you so much for giving your time, Simon. I know you're busy, down-packed for the next few weeks. Hopefully we'll catch you again sometime soon. But thanks a lot, and enjoy the rest of the tournament. Enjoy Bengaluru. Yeah,
thank you very much, Owl. I love Bengaluru, I love India, and it's just great to have a World Cup here.
It's the dream of every cricketer, the ultimate glory. Few manage to keep their date with destiny. But for many, it's been heartbreaks and a cross to bear. The Holy Grail is here in India. I'm Rupha Ramani, and Firstpost brings you the ringside view. We bring you the Cup of Dreams. Cricket World Cup coverage like never before.